Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Gargantia on the Verdurous planet episode 1. And again, I'll hold my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. So let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with a little bit of information being thrown right at us, perfectly timed by the way. Apparently Avalon, which is a utopia, has about 470 million citizens in outer space. And I'm like, wait a minute, Avalon? Somehow this sounds like something from King Arthur, but you know what, Avalon is neither a colony or a planet in my opinion because we don't know what the hell it is, but they refer to it as a utopia, so you have to assume it's some type of colony in outer space that is there for the qualified humans to live on, if that makes any sense. And when I say qualified humans, I mean the only way you can live on Avalon is if you pass the military standards. If you know an organization that's part of Avalon decides you are good enough to live there, then you can. And that sounds kind of barbaric in my opinion, but again, Avalon is a utopia with 470 million people living on it in outer space. Now apparently the Galactic Alliance in this case are the good guys. So the Galactic Alliance, they are the good guys, they're humanity. I'm like, okay, so that's humanity. We're called the Galactic Alliance. Okay. It's a unique name because we've heard it millions of times. The Federation, the Galactic Alliance, you know, what's the difference? Tomatoes, tomatoes, you know? But moving on past that, we find out the Galactic Alliance, their enemies are called the Hideouts. Now, the Hideouts is spelled Hideauze. So if you want to pronounce it differently, be my guest. I find it more unique how I pronounce it. But anyways, the Galactic Alliance, their enemies, they're called the Hideouts. Now, we don't get to see who the hell the Hideouts really are. Are they human? Are they insect? Are they animals? No. Are they robots? We don't get to see who they are, but I have a theory, and I will get to that later on in a few seconds, so definitely stay tuned. But moving on past that, we are taken to a little cutscene with the main character. His name is Ensign Leto, or Leto. You know, I'm going to call him two different names throughout this review, so bear with me. Anyways, we're introduced to this new character, who is the main character. His name is Ensign Leto, and he awakens inside of his mecha. Yeah, his robot, he awakens because he was in like a sleeping status. So he was asleep this whole time, and his mecha awakens him. And he is the pilot, by the way. And again, he is an ensign within the Galactic Alliance. Definitely worth mentioning. And apparently, Leto is part of the Kugel Squad. Definitely worth mentioning. However, we don't get to see really any of the other members of the Kugel Squad other than his commanding officer, just putting that out there. However, his squad is about to take on the Hideout's nest. Now, like I said at the beginning of this episode, I had a theory about who the Hideouts really are. Here's my theory. The Hideouts, I think they are insects. In my opinion, the Hideout, they look like insects. Just putting that out there, because when you hear the words Hideout's nest, nest usually reminds you of insects or an animal, something along those lines. But right now, I assume the Hideouts are some type of insect race, in my opinion. And moving on past that, we are thrown with a little bit of information from Leto, or in general, about what Leto is going to be doing next. So this is the information about Leto, what he's going to be doing next. He's going to be part of a surprise attack, and the Alliance is going to throw everything in on this mission. So this is like a full-fledged war against the Hideouts and the Hideout's nest in general. And here's the kicker. If the Galactic Alliance cannot take out the Hideout's nest, then the war is going to fail. So it's an all-or-nothing war right now. If they fail in this mission, humanity is doomed. Doomed! I'm like, oh, come on, seriously? Humanity's never going to be doomed. We always find a way to come up on top. So come on, bear with us here. Come on, insects? Squash, dead, done. But you know what? We don't know who the enemy really, like, what they look like, what they're capable of doing. We're just introducing them right off the bat. So for all I know, these insects could be really mobilized. They could be very, I don't know, smart. We don't really know. I mean, I don't know a lot of anime series with insects that are smart in the sense, other than a few live-action movies that came out on the Sci-Fi Channel. I think you know what I'm talking about. Starship Troopers. Come on. That was definitely a really good example of what I'm talking about. They're bugs that don't appear to be smart. However, there's always a brain bug that's super smart. So maybe that does exist within this anime series with the Hideouts, but just putting that out there. But sorry, I digress. Moving on past that, we are taken to a little cutscene with Leto. Now, Leto is being told that his military service has exceeded 145,000 hours. I was like, what? So does that mean he's out of the service after this mission? That was my first assumption, but no, that's not what it means. Again, Leto, his military service has exceeded 145,000 hours. That's a lot of hours in my opinion. However, now that he has so many hours achieved, he can be, after this operation is finished, he's going to be given a limited citizenship privileges and the right to visit Avalon for 4 weeks. What, no Disney World? Really? So all this time he's been into the service, all these hours, and his reward is a limited citizenship and privileges and the right to visit Avalon for 4 weeks? Again, what, no Disney World? You go through all this shit and that's it? Man, you got raped big time on this deal. That's all I got to say about that. But anyways, the attack finally begins. Moving on past that, of course, the attack has begun. Now, I should point out that the cannons have been destroyed. The enemy cannons, which are part of the hideout's nest, have been destroyed. So right off the bat, the enemy cannons have been destroyed after they come out of the wormhole, of course. So the Galactic Alliance goes through a big-ass wormhole in order to locate the hideout's nest. So definitely worth mentioning. And again, the enemy cannons have already been destroyed, and the Galactic Alliance, they're all ready to use their special weapon. So the Galactic Alliance, they have a special weapon, and it's called the Demonstrium. So their special weapon is called the Demonstrium, and it's ready to use on the hideout's nest. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen, but we really don't get to see what happens. In fact, their attempts fail. The main fleet, it's been hit pretty bad, in my opinion. At first I'm like, it looks like the enemy, the hideout's nest, was crapping out lightning. Literally, it looked like lightning. Not electricity, but lightning that was hitting all these spaceships. But it was all purple and whatnot, so it was kind of confusing. But again, the Galactic Alliance was ready to use their secret weapon, which was the Demonstrium. So I definitely thought that was worth mentioning. However, the main fleet, they've been hit already. Right off the bat, they've been hit, and all of the ships have been ordered to withdraw. So they come right out of the wormhole, they attack, it looks like they have the upper hand, and now they're retreating. We're getting, seriously, this is screwed up because I'm like, this is not even a fight. This isn't even a war. These aliens, known as the hideouts, we don't even get to see who the fuck they really are. We get to see their ships, giant flowers and whatnot, and that's about it. And they're already winning. Now, Commander Kugel, which is obviously head of the Kugel squad, seems to have odds ends about what's currently happening. He's not agreeing with really what's going on. Again, his name is Commander Kugel. Interesting name. Love his position, but we don't know a lot about him. But again, that's Leto's commanding officer. Now, I should point out the results being from Commander Kugel is that he doesn't want to stand there and do anything. You know, he doesn't want to stay back and do nothing. He wants to be committed to this fight, but he's been ordered to retreat. And you cannot say no to an order like that when you're having your ass handed to you on a silver platter by the enemy. Apparently, they only have 4 minutes left until the wormhole closes, and that's not a lot of time for them to evacuate the area. 4 minutes and they're being attacked? No. Again, this was a formal withdrawal. So all the ships, everyone's retreating. Even if they're under attack, they're leaving. But the fight just started. That's what I don't understand. So this is pretty much a sucky war to begin with. So we don't get to see a lot, but that's just me. Now moving on past that, we take to a little cutscene with Leto. Now Leto, he goes back to buy some time for the escaping vessels. So Leto, you're a really good character in my opinion. Definitely well built. You have a lot of integrity. I love how you just went back even though you could have left anytime you wanted to. You went back and you're definitely still in the war. You're not giving up. Now apparently he only has 200 seconds left until the wormhole closes and he's going to be trapped in front of the enemy. So that's not looking good. Now Commander Kugel, he retrieves Leto. He convinces Leto to return with him to the ship to get the hell out of Dodge. And they do. They actually retreat, which I thought was kind of uncommon. Usually the lone wolf in this kind of anime series, known mostly as Leto right now, doesn't listen. He'll probably do whatever he wants just to save the day. But no, Leto actually listens to his commanding officer, and they leave. They're about to board the ship. Now they have about a couple seconds left, so not a lot of time to screw around and save people. Now the commanding officer notices they still need more time. They're being attacked. They need to buy time, or else their ship is going to be destroyed, and they're just going to be stranded there. So he leaves. He looks at Leto and says, you know what, I'm not getting any younger, and you're the next generation. Stay safe. Just turns around. It goes back to fighting. I'm like, damn, that was one hell of a way for an exit scene. I loved it. Plain and simple, I loved it. Now Leto, he was about to land on one of the ships, because he listened to his commanding officer. He was about to, get on the ship. However, I thought he might want to turn around and join his commanding officer. That's what it looked like. It doesn't end up happening. But the buildup was, it looked like he was about to, and then he was attacked by a Haidaos. Yeah, right off the bat, Leto, he was attacked. Before he can even board this spaceship, he gets attacked. And the ship leaves without him. Yeah. However, the Haidaos that was attached to him or attacking him at the time was destroyed, so now Leto is free to join the ship. The ship, it's already in the wormhole, it's gone. And Leto, he's already in the wormhole, but he's not on the ship. We don't know where the hell he's going to end up. He's just in space right now. It's in a wormhole. If you don't complete a wormhole, in theory, if you don't go from point A to point B within a wormhole, and you fall between the gaps, you could land anywhere. Time could be a year from now, 2 years from now, and you come out of the wormhole. Your age has stopped, and we don't know what the hell's happened to the main character. I was like, what? Yeah, that definitely was what the hell. Now moving on past that, a long time later on, way into the future per se, we find out the Galactic Alliance unit known as Chamber, which belonged to Leto. Leto is actually still inside of the mecha, by the way. It has been found on a random planet. It looks like Earth. Putting that out there, it looks like Earth, and it's been found by a guy. He looks like an asshole because he is an asshole. Yeah, there's an annoying character we're introduced to. I'm not even going to say his name. He is freaking annoying. He looks like a mechanic junker. Apparently, this guy buys the Galactic Alliance unit that belongs to Leto. He buys it and he tries to take it apart, but no luck. They're using primitive weapons. So yeah, this has to be Earth. If they're primitive weapons, it has to be Earth. But again, Leto's mecha has been sold on this random planet, and it looks pretty good, so it's in good shape. And apparently we're introduced to another character besides the asshole. And this new character, her name is Amy. Simple name, Amy. And she looks exotic, kind of like an Indian background. Definitely new character. Her name is Amy. That's it. We don't know anything else about her. And we're taken to a little cutscene with Leto. Guess what? Leto, he's inside the mecha. He is still alive. And he was put in a long sleep until his mecha awoken. Or awakes in this case. Now, what I didn't understand, why didn't his mecha awaken him up sooner? Apparently it didn't awaken until this asshole beat the shit out of Leto's mecha. So if it wasn't for this asshole, then the mecha wouldn't have woken up. But again, the mecha known as Chambers is now up, and Leto has been awoken, and he is alive. He's inside the unit, and apparently 266,815 minutes have passed since he left the wormhole. And if you're wondering how long that is, that's 6 months and 185 days. So that's a lot of time that has passed. I wonder if he has to go to the bathroom. I mean, seriously, that's a lot of time. So all I can say is for Leto, he doesn't want to do anything except wait in his mecha until night falls. Now, Chambers, which is the intelligence unit that's inside of the mecha in general. So the mecha is known as Chambers, but it's like an AI, like in Outlaw Star, the same type of thing. So it's the AI unit. So Chambers, while he's inside of the mecha, of course, he's checking out everyone outside, checking the language, identifying where they're at, trying to understand who are these primitive people, where are they at. Kind of interesting. He's trying to get some intel. However, Leto, he decides he's going to wait until nightfall to exit the unit to check out the area, check if the air is breathable, and he does. In my opinion, that's a bad move. What I would have done, yes, I would have waited until nightfall, but I wouldn't have got out of the damn unit. Are you serious? What are you, a freaking moron? You're going to leave the unit in an unknown area with people that you know are around you. No, I wouldn't have done that. I would have got the hell out of Dodge, and then I would have got out of the unit. But you know what? We're different. Plain and simple. I would have done that. He wouldn't have. Plain and simple. Now again, it was a bad decision because you know what? Amy, she returns with the asshole, which is the mechanic. And anyways, Amy and the asshole, they return and they notice, wait a minute. Or should I say the asshole, he notices that the unit, something's different about it. There's footprints on the ground. Someone has to be here. And guess what? The asshole notices that Leto is around, and he's like all frantic. He's trying to attack him, try to get some answers out of him, something like that. But before you know it, Leto, he takes Amy as a hostage. He kidnaps her and runs. He figures, you know what? If I have this girl as a hostage, they're not going to shoot at me. But they still go after her, and this asshole hits the alarm. Now everyone's awake, everyone's got guns. Now Leto, he's got a plan. He tells Chambers to track him so he knows the layout of the land. At the same time, he's still trying to understand what the language is that they're using on this planet. Now eventually Leto does get outside, and he's now free of the building, and he notices he's on a planet with air. And it comes to his attention, he's on Earth, the legendary planet that was thought to be frozen or destroyed. And again, that was kind of interesting, worth mentioning. Now, just prior to that, we find out Amy, she has a pet known as Grace, and her pet attacks Leto, and now Amy is free, and Leto no longer has a hostage, so he's by himself, and now he's being surrounded by, it looks like, people with guns, really damn good guns, AK-47s and whatnot, you name it, and out of nowheres, he summons Chambers. That's right, his mecha appears right behind him, and it's flying in midair, and it looks beautiful, and that's where the episode ends. As for final thoughts, okay, first of all, we know nothing about Leto's background. Does he have brothers, sisters? What's his military background? His specialties, we really don't know, other than he's an ensign and he's a pilot of the Galactic Alliance. That's about it. But what I should point out, while he's on Earth, he put Chambers on an emergency frequency. So Chambers is sending out an emergency beacon so his allies from the Galactic Alliance can find them faster, but I doubt that's going to happen because they're on a legendary planet known as Earth, which they thought was frozen or no longer in existence, so good luck with that. I doubt anyone's going to be looking for it in your sector. Moving on past that, we know nothing about Amy or Earth. Who are all these people? There's like so many questions you have to ask, but it was a great episode regardless. But that ends it for my final thoughts. As per my rating, okay, 3.5 out of 5 right off the bat. Now this is a different mecha series entirely. It's a little slower and it's less hands-on. It's more the build-up, an emotional build-up after he lands on the planet. So I have to give this a 3.5 out of 5. Was there any emotion and drama? Kind of, when Leto actually kidnaps Amy, because Amy's saying all this random stuff, and you know she's saying like, you pervert or something like that, because he's slapping her ass and stuff. Random stuff like that. So yeah, there was a little, but it wasn't a lot in my opinion. Moving on past that, was there any information being thrown at us that was actually worth hearing? Yeah, I would say a good amount of information. We know who the good guys are, the Galactic Alliance, and we know who the bad guys are, the Hideouts. But we don't know shit about either one of them really, other than the Galactic Alliance controls the Avalon Utopia, which is like this special place in outer space that is for the elite. Like if you don't pass certain standards, you can't live on Avalon. And apparently Leto has passed those certain standards. And again, final rating, 3.5 out of 5. And that ends it for my walkthrough review of Gargantia on the Verdurous planet, episode 1. So definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down, definitely subscribe, check me out on Twitter, and follow me if you like. Let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's going to happen in the next episode that's coming out. But again, guys, that ends it for now, and I gotta hit the bricks and I gotta go. And before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it, you can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.